Hello there, and welcome back to War Thunder. So today I want to discuss the introduction of the quote-unquote new nation, China, and I had a few days to think about this. My initial reaction was, oh, copy-paste, because I saw just the tanks and the planes that were in the release tech tree, in the pictures that Gaijin provided us in their dev blog, and I was like, oh, I know this one, I know that one, etc, etc, and so it's no coincidence that I'm playing here this rather rare American LVT version. This is the LVT A4 CIS2, which was available once, I guess, in an event, and now gets sold also from loot boxes for horrendous prices for its battle rating on the marketplace. By the way, it's not a premium tank. Later on, for the rest of the discussion, we have some relaxing P40E gameplay. But let's just discuss this in a objective fashion. First of all, I think nobody is forced to play it. And the next thing is, as far as I can tell, the planes and the tanks will not cause any sort of power creep or feature creep. At least the battle ratings that I really care about, so up to 7.7. Now, the next thing is, this is something very objective. I have everything in War Thunder. And I look at my 1,300 plus vehicles that I have, planes, tanks, ships, and even helicopters, and I think to myself, I've nothing to play. Remember, this is very subjective. It's rather unlikely that you find yourself in the same position. And I have nothing to grind. I have nothing to do, and it gets boring. I have everything. I could play everything, and this is something that you probably desire and you can't get it, and you don't have the time and the money or both to get any sort of reasonable lineup. I have it, and I can tell you it sucks, which is something bad for the overall game design of War Thunder, because then you get just annoyed by all the bugs and the problems that there are within War Thunder rather than enjoying it. At least that is a problem of mine. And I don't think that China will cause more of those problems. In fact, I think that China can resolve some of the problems. I will come to this in just a moment. So I don't think that this is a nation that will cause power creep or feature creep. And this is so a good thing. And if you look at the tanks, the nation seems to be balanced, because it has a huge variety of light tanks and armored cars, of medium tanks and heavy tanks. And when you look at some of the heavy tanks, those are some of the first tanks that were ever introduced into War Thunder, the IS-2 being one of them, the IS-2 mod 1944. And then if you look at the tank destroyer line, this is very interesting in my opinion, because you have tanks like the M18, and in the same tech tree line you will find the ISU 122. I absolutely love playing the M18. I massively despise the ISU 122. But then there are, two very different tank destroyer design lines are in one nation. And I think that this is the prototype of the international tech tree. Now, what about this copy and paste thing that so many people were not really amused about? I think it's mandatory that you build up a skeleton, that you build up a tank tree, tank tech tree, and a plane tech tree that is kind of filled with stuff that you already have. Yes, it's an asset flip, but when we look at purely the tech trees, not the premium lines, the tech trees, that is something that we have seen throughout the years. If you really despise this kind of addition, then you also have to despise large parts of the Italian and the French tech tree. And then we truly also have to discuss through all the premiums and captured and also the Land-Lease planes, tanks, and ships to a certain degree that we see in War Thunder, even in the main nations, German P-47 being one of them. I mean, yes, some people have really not accepted them until now, but they just exist and they are here to stay, right? And I think War Thunder lives from the addition of new stuff. So this is mandatory for War Thunder at this point in time to really attract new players, to keep the money flowing. And I don't know what's going on inside of Gaijin headquarters, but this is just the build-up of a new nation. I have thought about other nations coming into War Thunder, like Hungary or Sweden. And so, for me personally, China came a little bit out of the blue. But maybe this is also something that will fix the matchmaker. Maybe China will fight alongside the Axis powers, and so then large portions of the German tanks get supported by the support that they always need, but they don't have in their nation. So, I mean, I still would prefer it for Germany at rank 2, 3, and 4 to have more mobile tanks. But maybe Gaijin doesn't really think that this is necessary. I think it is, but maybe Gaijin thinks differently. And so, one thing remains. If you look at the planes, we still have the Tu-4. And the Tu-4 is a copy-paste that plane. Huge repair costs, but if you get away with it without get shot down, then you absolutely wreck the enemy bases. And a squadron still can end the game very quickly. So, I think the nation introduces only problems if it introduces problems that we already have in the game already. And so I think that I let this asset flip pass because it is mandatory to build up the skeleton, and later on we see planes that are planned. We see tanks that are planned for future additions. And maybe for other patches we will see that the community comes up with models of their own to be implemented within the Chinese tech tree or the premium tech tree. So China as a nation within War Thunder is a chance, but it's also a risk. But I think the chance is higher than the risk. The problem that I have is that it's done by Gaijin, and they are known to surprise me more than often enough in a bad way. So, what actually will happen, we can only see in the follow-up months when the player base gradually grinds up. And I think that if you think about the money that Gaijin can earn, it's not just that the premium tanks get sold, but also a lot of golden eagles will flow through the players' accounts to build up the crews, to get the modules for some higher tier planes and tanks, where then the stock grind is horrible again. So we will see this as well. So the next thing is, when I looked at the dev blog, I just looked also in the comment section, and there was a comment by Ochi, and it says the devs fix around 1,000 bugs between each major patch, and we announced or implemented a couple of features requested by the community for some time, and it's not finished. We are fixing the game. Now, I was shocked by this comment, because if Gaijin is really fixing 1,000 bugs between each major patch, then where are they coming from? Because I don't see any real improvement in the gameplay and for the problems that I really think are the bigger ones. If they would come around and fix the stat card name for some of the German cruisers, then that would be nice, but that's again one single bug because they changed just one letter, and they still haven't done it. The Köln is properly written as K, Ö, L, and N, but the Nürnberg misses its Ü. It still has a U, so it's still written wrongly. And if Gaijin would change that, that's another bug fixed, but it doesn't really affect the gameplay. It doesn't really affect the balance. And so that comment alone was just frightening, because it seems like the devs are busy fixing stuff, but they're fixing the easy stuff, the quick to fix bugs or wrong stat card numbers or something like this. But something that would really improve the game, we have not seen. Maybe China will improve this to a certain degree. I don't think that Gaijin will introduce China as a game changer, but maybe as China will be able to push Gaijin's development direction in a better pathway. Now we have seen over the past couple of months and last patches, just high tier stuff, high tier stuff, high tier stuff, high tier stuff. And this is now again a lot of new low tier content, mid tier content. And while I agree that a lot of it is copy and pasted, again, just to repeat myself, we have seen this in the future in the Chinese, in the Italian tech tree, in the Japanese tech tree, and also the French tech tree. And over the course of the next 2 years, new, more unique, actually Japanese vehicles will find their way into War Thunder. But then there is already something that you can implement this stuff into, where you just can complement then your future lineups with. I think that the T62 as a premium is not the best choice, and I myself would have wished for something different, as I discussed in my last video. But China is a chance, and that is something that I haven't seen in quite a while in War Thunder. So opinions may vary, point of views are different, of course, and people sometimes think that this is kind of a sport to harass Gaijin just for the sake of it. I don't think it is. I want to criticize Gaijin, and when I say criticizing, it is often very much wrongly understood. Criticizing goes both ways, positive and negative, pointing out the good ways and the bad ways of a direction that a company has, in this case Gaijin. I compliment them if they do something right. And recently they have done so many things wrong that it just gave me so much ammunition for rants that I think a lot of people have misunderstood what this YouTube channel is actually about, enjoying the game, and I myself have forgotten that in some of the videos. I want to make reviews, I want to make first impression videos, I want to make gameplay, kill compilations, something like this, experiencing the game myself, and War Thunder still got it. And maybe this is again the chance, but we have to see how it actually will work out. So I hope you understood the message of this video. Give it a chance, give it a try, but be very careful what you are spending your money on. And with having said this, that's it for me today. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed this video, and let me know in the comment section, as usual, what you think about this topic. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Gave my speech now you a new kind of kickstarting to your thoughts in a different direction, or are you still convinced that this is only a lazy asset flip? That's it for me today, so give this video a like with it, subscribe if you want to see more, and we'll see each other on the waves, in the skies, and on the battlefields of War Thunder.